Welcome. So in this quick video, we're going to do three things. We're going to look at live vol call volume. We're going to rank stocks by vol call volume. And so what's vol call volume? The volume of calls bought. Then we're going to look at call put buys and sell volume for a stock. And we're going to look at for each expiration, then in aggregate, and then we're going to compare with some other stocks. So welcome. Okay, so we click here to spin up a new workspace. Here we go. And what happens? We have this left pane over here and the center pane, which you can split and load any of the apps. So we drag this a little bit over here. However, not so much because we're gonna load a volume of calls bought. Why is that useful? You can find some pretty interesting stocks that way. Yeah, so it tells you, so let's look at this right now. Right now we're looking at ranking by value. So that's the premium bot in all options trades. So SPX on top, ES Futures, SPY, Tesla, the usual ones. Anything interesting here? Oh, look at BABA over here. That's a new one. And AMC very high up there. What else do we have? And a lot of the usual ones of the usual suspects. J&J, that's also new. So what we want to do is we want to rank this by first we want to display volume of calls bought. So what do? We click here, this, and you'll see this on all of the panes. This will open up the control panel for that specific pane. So right now we're looking at flow. We open this up and we want to add, and you can start typing or you can just scroll until you find it, volume of call buy. And we want to click go. Cool. Now this is displaying the volume of call buys. So, and now we want to rank it by volume of call buys. So we go over here, order by, and let's find it, volume of call buys. This time without typing and just finding. And you can do this all by command. Well, let's just type it, volume of call buys, and go. So now this is giving us the rank. See how this changed? So now we have a different look. Now PLTR is very high up there. Okay, so that's that. And I always leave this open right there because it tells me the health of the market. It tells me like what's going on. So first it gives me the price of, the top traded stocks. And if there's something going on in the market, it's going to be showing up in the options market. That's almost certainly. And most of these parameters are options parameters. I mean, price is just the price and change is just the change of the price. But most of value, vol call buy, those are option parameters. And if something's up, it's happening in the options market. So right now, the highest ones in volume of call buys, we have, BABA, well, Tesla is always up there, PLTR, NEO, INTC. So let's actually see what is up over here. And you can do an enter right there to reset the formatting. So we go over here and we have one big pane. We want to open up the Joy app. So you go over here and you click on the Joy app. When you click on one of the apps, so this is the home, let's go back home. When you click on one of the apps, it's gonna click one of the default commands, a command that always works and just the default one. So the default one for Joy is Joy Apple OI. It's Apple Open Interest, which you can see right there. So now we're not interested in open interest, we're interested in vol BS. This is going to tell us the volume of buys and sells. So this here, let's first get rid of some bars F. So you see the stuff that I'm typing here, you can do this, you go over here and you can edit like what I did right now, some bars F, you go over here and some bars here and you turn it on or off. And that's the point and click GUI. right? So now what are we looking at here? We're looking at volume of buys and sells for all calls and puts across all strikes and expirations. So for the 28th today, we have, this is the action. Now look at this. On August 4th, we have some big 250 call buys and some 130 put buys. And I mean, is there anything really that interesting here? Not so much. Let's change this to at, right? So what does that do? At picks up whatever symbol is here. So that way we can click on symbols without changing the command. So we click enter and nothing happens because the symbol right here is Apple. But let's go and click on Baba. And when you click here, notice this changed and this changed. You can see the symbol right there. Okay, so Baba does have some interesting stuff. Look at these call buys in September over here. There's some at the money call buys here, some out of the money call buys here. Let's see now PLTR, what's going on over there. Okay, some call sells over here. A lot of zero data expiration call buys over here. Okay, let's look at INTC. Nothing that really picks my eye up over here. Roku. All right. And so right now we're splitting by all the expirations, but we can aggregate them. So we press this ag, and this gives us the whole thing in aggregate, and you can see it right there. So now look at this. So now we see, you know, there's some, in aggregate, there's some 110 call buys happening. Let's look now in Neo. There's a lot of at the money call buys. Let's look at AMD. AMD a little bit, you know, not so blatant as the other ones. Now let's bring the sum bars back, right? So this tells us the sum of activity and calls and puts. So in sum, there's net call selling and net put selling, right? Now let's compare it with something else. So to do that, we're going to split this pane in two. Awesome. And here we're going to add the NM parameter, which removes the margins. So it gives us more space. And here, let's copy and paste, but we don't want ads for this one. Let's try out PLTR for this one. So now look at that. So here AMD has a lot of call selling and put selling. Here PLTR has in aggregate a lot more call buying and some put buying as well. Now let's split it even more. And what do we want to look at here? Let's look at Neo here. Wow, look at that. Now that is a bullish picture, and I'll tell you why in a second. And let's look at Sophie. So I'm getting all these names from here. So this table alone is incredibly valuable because it tells you what names to look at. So, okay, this is quite interesting. So what do we see from AMD? AMD, I'm just seeing, you know, option selling. There's nothing that I really get from this picture. But when you compare it to let's compare it now to PLTR. PLTR has quite a bit of call buying, but also some put buying, as you can see over here. This blue line, this blue bar is a lot of put buying. Now look at this one, Neo, a bunch of call buying and put selling. Now that's bullish flow right there. And a lot of this action is centered at the money in strikes 14, but you have some out of the money stuff going on over here. And then this Sophie is a bearish picture, right? A lot of put buying. Look at all of that put buying over here. That's some pretty significant put buying. And if we wanted to expand this further, but we don't want to lose this panes over here, we click here to create a new layout. Awesome. And now here we paste it, and we don't, this is what we were seeing in the previous picture, but we don't want it in aggregate. We want it to see by strikes and expiration. Oh, look at that. It's in August. That's the culprit. August strike 8. Those are the puts that are being bought. Okay, cool. So that's it for this quick session. Let's go ahead and open the sidebar here, and this is what we have loaded right now, and we're gonna rename it, right? Rename it as video 0728, right? And let's rename this one as quad, and let's rename this, actually I think quad ag is better, quad, because there's 4 panes and you can see what the commands are for that one. And let's rename this one as single Sophie. Awesome. Now we're gonna go ahead and save this, and now it's green because it's saved. And now you can go ahead in your terminal and you can, I'm closing that, and you can go in here to public directory, and you're gonna find right here video 728 with these ones, and you can open it up just by clicking on this button, and that's gonna spin up the exact layout that we just showed, the exact workspace. Or you can also, in your own workspace, this is a new one, you can clone just this specific layout. So you see, we loaded this one into this new workspace. And that is it for today. Thank you for watching. This is ConvexValue.